After being retrieved from deep space and debriefed by the company, Ripley's story of the Nostromo being taken over by an alien presence was, to say the least, met with skepticism, and her decision to destruct the expensive vessel was considered questionable and heavily criticized, and led to a reduction in her rank and her flight status was revoked. However, it would be the coordinates of the derelict spacecraft holding the xenomorph eggs described by Ripley that led Carter Burke to send a survey team to search the location. Within no more than 2 days, contact with the Hadley's Hope colony was lost, and at Burke's recommendation, WEYLAND-YUTANI agreed to send a response team to take a look, believing that there may be an opportunity to obtain first rights to a legitimate R&D asset for the bioweapons division. The WEYLAND-YUTANI report, as well as Alan Dean Foster's novelization, goes into detail on the decision to send the Marine Squad and the team assembled to handle the situation. Being in close contact with WEYLAND-YUTANI administrators, Burke advised that he had already taken the initiative to access the team through Lieutenant Gorman, whom Burke believed to be understanding of the significance of being a team player. It was also alluded that the team had previous experience with alien life forms, grain parasites found on Arctura. With Ripley working as an advisor and experienced, battle-ready combat veterans at hand, it was agreed that there would be more than efficient resources to compile this rescue squad, which, in reality, was being used to attain possible assets for WEYLAND-YUTANI. In July 2179, the mission was underway. Lieutenant First Class Ellen Ripley. Following her disastrous deposition and limited career prospects that followed, Ripley had taken a job at Gateway Station, operating power loaders with weekly mandatory psychiatric evaluations on company orders. She was diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder, along with comorbid generalized anxiety disorder, with many medications recommended and dispensed as a result. Ripley held no military rank during the Hadley's Hope mission. Technically, she was considered a civilian advisor, and her lieutenant designation was a flight rank rather than military. Because she had served as a warrant officer for the UA, the USCM awarded her a second lieutenant's pay scale in recognition of past service. While she was initially reluctant to join the mission, her own personal reasons motivated her decision, as well as Burke's assurances that the intention was to wipe the alien species out. Carter J. Burke. At the time of the mission to LV-426, Carter Burke served as the Director of Special Projects, a position he took early in his meteoric rise through the company ranks of WEYLAND-YUTANI. He was noted for having excellent people skills and hands-on initiative. Given his unquestioning loyalty to the company and his high social rating, he was the logical choice to represent company interests. Even as the situation within the team became dire, Burke remained loyal, making attempts and working against the group toward gaining a specimen for company interests. Executive Officer Bishop. Bishop faithfully followed orders during the mission to LV-426, though Burke wanted Bishop replaced with a modified model carrying WEYLAND-YUTANI loyalty subprogram directives, but timely access was unavailable. WEYLAND-YUTANI was able to piece together sequences of events on LV-426 uploaded from Bishop, though the company was unable to interfere with his directives to protect human life. And Bishop, of course, was integral to the survivors' escape from LV-426 by remote piloting the second dropship from the Sulaco after the initial crash that left the team marooned. First Lieutenant Scott Gorman, Squadron Commander. The mission to LV-426 was Lieutenant Gorman's second field command operation. Despite showing exceptional potential in the USCM Academy, Gorman failed to perform appropriately under combat conditions. He was also not especially liked or respected among his peers from the very beginning of the mission, appearing more as an outsider, not particularly worthy of the squad's trust. While a traumatic injury to the head left Gorman unconscious for most of the events taking place after the attack within the xenomorph Hive, he was able to stand off during the infiltration of the Operations Center, and made an attempt to rescue Vasquez once she was injured in the air ducts, taking their lives, along with several aliens, with a grenade in a final act. Master Sergeant Al A. Pone, Ground Troop Commander. A. Pone served as the senior NCO for the company-funded mission to LV-426, chosen for his expertise in on-the-ground logistics and strong leadership abilities. In the first direct contact with the xenomorph, Master Sergeant Pone was captured to be used as a host. Corporal Dwayne Hicks. Corporal Hicks was the sole Colonial Marines survivor from Hadley's Hope and the xenomorph encounter on LV-426. After Lieutenant Gorman received incapacitating injuries and A. Pone was captured by xenomorphs, Corporal Hicks assumed command of the mission, which was technically under military jurisdiction. YUTANI was not especially satisfied with his command during the remainder of the mission, citing that he had neither the training nor the experience to make informed decisions regarding the protection of company property, and it was believed that he relied heavily on Ripley's input to make decision. Hicks perished in hypersleep in the crash of a Type 337 EEV, which was ejected from the USS Sulaco in August of 2179. He posthumously received a Distinguished Service Medal from the USCM for outstanding bravery. Private TREVOR WIERZBOWSKI, Rifle Team. WIERZBOWSKI carried an M240 incinerator unit into combat with the xenomorphs at the processor. It is unknown if WIERZBOWSKI was killed outright in the attack or if he was also taken as a host. His armor was damaged and helmet lost when the drones attacked. Private First Class William Hudson, Combat Tech. Despite numerous altercations with his superiors and peers, he was scheduled to receive an honorable discharge from the USCM following the mission to LV-426. Hudson was killed in action and posthumously decorated for gallantry under fire by the USCM. Corporal Cynthia DIETRICH, Hospital Corpsman. Earned EMT Advanced in 2172. A resourceful medtech, Dietrich was able to modify a biomonitor once Rebecca Newt Jordan, the lone survivor of Hadley's Hope, was discovered, and was able to determine any physical ailments. Once in the Hive, Dietrich was the first to be abducted by the xenomorphs to be used as a host. Private First Class Jeanette Vasquez, Smart Gun Operator. Long recognized for absolute dedication to the Corps, PFC Vasquez enlisted to avoid detention time in 2172 as part of the Service or Jail Act. While cited several times early in her career for disorderly conduct, often accompanied by Private Drake, Vasquez earned a Silver National Inter-Service Marine Corps Rifle Competition Badge in 2175, and in 2177 she became an active member of the USCM At-Risk Youth Outreach Program. Private Mark Drake, Smart Gun Operator. Like PFC Vasquez, Drake also enlisted shortly after national directives encouraged courts to offer military enlistment in lieu of sentencing. Vasquez and Drake went through boot camp together and requested assignments to the same units. Both chose advanced weapons training as a specialty. Their smart gun drill instructor often referred to them as the Sweethearts, although they denied a romantic relationship. On 3 separate occasions in 2172, Drake and Vasquez were picked up by MPs on D&D complaints. While Vasquez finally embraced the Marine lifestyle following promotion in rank, Drake seemed to resent this choice, often complaining about the pay scale. Drake was killed in the Marines' first direct contact with the xenomorph, a victim of severe burns to the face and chest. Private Rico Frosty, Frost, Combat Tech Support. Frost held a first-degree black belt in the MCMAP and was in the process of applying to instruct and train. Referred to jokingly within his unit as the Zen Master, Frost's nickname, Frosty, became code among his fellow Marines to remain cool during emergencies. Frost was the first Marine to be killed in the Xenomorph Hive on LV-426. Private Tim Crow, Communications Tech. Killed in action, Crow perished in the initial conflict with the Xenomorphs when a bag of confiscated rifle ammo was detonated by fire. Suit readings record that he was killed instantly. Corporal Colette FERRO, UD-4L Cheyenne dropship pilot. By all accounts, FERRO was a gifted dropship pilot. Uploads to the Sulaco show that Corporal FERRO and PFC Spunkmeyer waited unsecured at the colony complex for a dust-off call from Lieutenant Gorman. Shortly after, a xenomorph drone got aboard the ship, killing both pilots. Private First Class Daniel Spunkmeyer, UD-4L Cheyenne dropship crew chief. Spunkmeyer was the pilot and crew chief, responsible for overseeing maintenance of the UD-4L dropship. Due to looking younger than the rest of the team, it was long rumored that he had enlisted underage. He was killed moments before Corporal FERRO by a xenomorph that had infiltrated the dropship. While undoubtedly a talented team, all but Ripley, Hicks, and Bishop survived the incidents at Hadley's Hope, along with the colonist survivor Newt. It could be said that the circumstances were simply against them. Perhaps a larger team may have fared better against the overwhelming odds of the xenomorph colony. If not for the complications arisen from the reactor core's vulnerability, the team may have been better able to defend themselves, using weapons other than flame units and hidden alternates. And certainly the infiltration and subsequent crash caused by the alien on the dropship made a bad situation infinitely worse. There is no doubt that this was an efficient group, with each member bringing a unique skill and personality to the operation, and many of them could have been very helpful in the latter half of the mission. My question to you is this. Of the Marines described here that didn't survive the initial contact within the Hive, who would you have liked to have seen survive longer, at least until the standoff at the Operations Center? Personally, I would have liked to have seen Drake survive a little bit longer, and I think his gruff and intimidating attitude would have made for some interesting contributions among the group as they worked to survive. Comment below and let me know who you would like to have seen more of. And as always, thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to give it a like, and if you're so inclined, you can also subscribe for all the latest videos from this channel. A very special thanks goes out to WEYLAND YUTANI executive EmYarUk, part of the Patreon Hive. If you'd like to join the Hive and support the channel, check out my Patreon page for exclusive posts and contests. In the meantime, you can catch up with Alien Theory over social media. Follow @alien_theory on Twitter and @alientheoryyt on Facebook and Instagram for more. Stay frosty, and until next time, this is Alien Theory, signing off.